join us. We're getting all our Facebook Lives and Instagrams going, and we're going to have a good talk sitting here today. And so you tell somebody to tune in. I'm going to give it to my daughter, Letitia, and she's going to tell about herself and who she is, and we're just going to pass the mic around, and then I'm going to start our topic. Okay, here we go.
Hi, everyone. We going live on Facebook and Instagram. Make sure you share. Our topic today is, did you say you was going to say the topic?
You can say it.
Okay, we're talking about relationships.
Yes.
So we can have comments.
Yes.
If you have any questions, put it in the comments or whatever. But I'm Tisha, and it's walk by faith, not by fear.
Yes. Woo! All right, Tisha.
Hey y'all.
Hey.
I'm Diane or Nene. What were we supposed to be saying? Just
Introduce yourself and what we're talking about.
Oh yeah. This is just us, family coming together.
Yes.
Just talking about different things in life, things that whatever God puts on our hearts to talk about. We as a family have been through so many things, and I think it's so cool for us to come together and just have these topics and share them with y'all. Because we talk about stuff, but now we're sharing it with y'all. So it's going to be a cool experience.
Yes, it is. So tune in and tell somebody to tune in.
Hi, I'm Tiara Hicks.
T.
It's easier for you to call me T, that's okay. But yeah, I'm 25. I was about to say 24. I just turned 25. So thank God for that.
Yes.
But if you're on my live, have your friends join. We're talking about relationships, and I know a lot of people, that's one of the biggest problems in our youth right now is learning how to communicate in relationships and stuff like that. So if you have anybody that's going through relationship problems, anything, have them join. You know, if you feel free to talk, if you want to join, you can request to add in. We can add you to the live as well. So just let us know and we're going to get started.
This is like a precursor, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, and I was just saying, this is like a precursor to what's to come. This is just something to give y'all a little sneak peek of what we gonna have in the future. So
Yes.
I hope y'all enjoy it.
And also, we missing a few people. My sister, I see she joined our live.
Hey, Kina. Hey, Mom.
She'll be joining us some days. And my other niece, Takira and Tiana.
Yes. Hi, y'all.
So it's about to be amazing.
Yes.
I'm excited on what God is getting ready to do
Yes.
in our lives. So we can just share with y'all our experiences, good and bad. And like my niece T said, if you have any questions either on Facebook Live or Instagram, just drop them in the comments below.
Yeah, and we will
Answer them.
Answer any questions.
Any questions. And so, welcome to Walk by Faith, Not by Fear. So we're going to start off just giving you a little bit about us. We're a family that's been through a whole lot, and we're just coming together in love and just sharing, because we know the things that we went through, that we're not the only one that went through these things, but we want to be able to encourage you all, talk to people, and let you know that God is real. And it's not just a religious thing, so we don't want you to think, oh, they're talking about church. No, we're going to have all types of topics coming, and our actual podcast will start in March. We're going to be in Vegas, woo, having fun as a family. And so that's going to be our actual first start. But today, we're going to be talking about relationships. So we know that we all have input. We've all been in relationships, some bad, some good, some up, some down. But we want to be able to answer questions. If you have any questions, any comments, just type them right in and we'll respond to your question. So we're just so glad you all are here. And we're going to start out about relationships. So let's start talking about relationships. We know that people go through different relationships, different types of relationships. And a lot of times when you're going through a relationship, a lot of times you have ups and downs. Why? Because you're two different people. And so you're not going to think the same way. You're going to think one way, and your significant other is going to be thinking another way. And so a lot of times that causes division and confusion. And so it causes ups and downs. And so we just want to kind of talk about it, because we're not perfect. Like I said, we've been through it all. We've been through abusive relationships. We've been through some ups and downs. But we're here to let you know that through it all, you can make it through any relationship if you just seek God's face and if you put God first. And so our first topic we're talking about, we're going to be having different topics. And so if you have a topic that you want us to talk about, just type it in and say, talk about this topic. And we'll write it down and we'll discuss it and we'll talk about that topic. But today it's relationships. Because everyone want to be loved by somebody. Everyone want to be in a relationship with someone. And when you're in a relationship, you want that relationship to work. You don't want to be in a relationship that, you just in it just to be in it. But, you want to be in a relationship that you're going to feel loved and that you're going to give love. And so I'm going to pass it around and we're going to be talking and we're going to come back and forth. I'm going to hand it over to Tisha and she's going to say something. And then Nay or Tier, whoever want to say something. But we're going to be passing it around and we're going to have some fun up in the house.
So hello everybody. Once again, I'm just going to share a little bit about my story. I'm married. I have 3 children. 2 grown and 1 actually is my daughter right here, Deanna. But I've been married for 17 years and together total 27 on and off.
Wow.
So it's been a rocky road. Marriage, you think it's easy, but it's not.
Takes work.
It takes a whole lot of work.
Yes.
And I just, it's just times where me and my husband separated, got back together, separated. This was an ongoing situation. And actually it's been going on for years. And this year, I had to pray and give it to God and pray. I would always pray, but I didn't give it completely to God. And this time I gave it completely to God. So when I gave it over to God, he just started changing my life and my husband's life. So, like I said, it's sometimes people, we didn't go through abuse or, all of that physical abuse, but emotional abuse or just having your disagreements. And when 2 people come together, you coming together with different lifestyles. So, I'm, how I grew up from how he grew up, it was just different. So I'm just saying, once you give it to God and allow him to take control and you remove yourself out the way, he began to move. So even though it took a long time for this time to come, but I just thank God and I give him the glory. So my message to you guys, that when you are going through something, if it's not, you're not getting beat or, there's not really no cheating and all of that involved, just give it to God and pray, and ask God to change you. And that was my problem. I was so focused on trying to change him, where I just asked God to change me. I had to remove myself out the way, fast, pray, all of it. And when I completely did it, God did a whole bunch of changes.
Yes. Yeah. It's good to talk about your relationship so they can know where we at, however you want to do it. Because I'm going to talk about mine and just talk about our
There's
relationship.
different
A lot of people
relationships.
joining right now.
I guess even just to segue
Welcome
from
if
that,
you just coming
that's,
in.
seeing my parents go through everything that they've been through and still be here. It showed me a lot. It just taught me endurance in relationships and just trusting in God, because everybody can say anything. Like you can have, like I could even say something. I could say something. Siblings could say things. Parents could say things. Friends could say things. But you really just have to trust in God and know, what is God telling you for your specific relationship.
Yes.
And so, yeah, I learned from their relationship in regard to that. And in my own relationships, I look at, there are so many different kinds of relationships. Like there are the ones between you and your parent, you and your friends, you and your mate. But one of the, I would say strongest testimonies pertaining to relationships would be the one that I was in before. I've only been in one relationship, like pertaining to like a mate kind of thing, and I learned so much about that. I learned so much. I said, God, the next person is just gonna be whoever I'm supposed to be with, because I don't want to deal with nothing else. But I learned so much. But I was able to learn so much because I took time to myself. I didn't just jump into another one. I see a lot of people do that. I was like, I don't even know how. Like I was hurting for a long time, and I didn't even know that I should have gotten out of that relationship. Like that was a big part. The only reason I got out of that relationship was because I just felt like God said, if you leave, I know you don't want to leave now, but you'll thank me in the long run. Like you'll thank me in the long term sense of it all. And I think back to that moment like, wow, God, I'm so grateful. Because if I didn't, who knows where we would be today. I experienced a lot of different things in that relationship. With my first relationship, so definitely had the puppy love going on. We had the puppy love going on, just all the flirting and all of that happening, and then like the bubble guts and all that happened. And then when we finally got together, I feel like I'll just talk about what I learned. So what I learned from me being with him is that I wasn't ready for a relationship. Even though I do not regret it, like I feel like I had to learn those lessons. But I realized that you really have to be strong and confident within yourself, and you kind of got to know what you want and what you would stand for and what you won't stand for, or you'll fall for anything. I learned that in that time I wasn't easily influenced, but there were some things that I would be persuaded to if I didn't have a firm foundation, if I didn't have a good stance on something. So like for instance, I was good. Like I'm not somebody that will smoke or drink, so nobody can influence me because I'm firm on that. I know why I don't want to, whatever. But another thing was, in pertaining to my relationship with God, that kind of wavered because I believed in God my whole life, but I didn't know why I believed. And because I didn't know why, I was prone to believe in anything almost. Like, not anything, but like whatever made sense to me. And so it wasn't until after I realized I need to know why I believe in God. I need to understand that for myself. And I try to tell everybody else I come in contact with the same thing, because you could get easily swayed, like the Bible says. So, I could go on and on, but I want to give other people the chance to talk. I just wanted to say that, like, really just know yourself before you get in a relationship. Understand what you want, what you don't want, and experiment,
That's right.
That's beautiful. You got to know your boundaries, Tier.
Well, my relationship road has, Lord Jesus, has been a road. And that's what it has been. It's been one of those roller coasters.
Okay.
Well, many of you probably don't know about my lifestyle before, but I used to date girls. And that was a, now I look back and I don't even know how, because there's not much women can do for me today, but it was in that time I realized what Deanna just brought up is not knowing yourself will cause people to tell you who you are. Like, I was into sports. I never was into boys, girls, nothing. I was really a self-involved kid. I was the oldest of 5, so I had to be at home more than I could go out. And I started, getting into sports, and that's what got my mind off of what I was going through, because I was born in Michigan, but I moved to Vegas early, so I feel like I lost identity very early. I was trying to find myself in a state where I had never met anyone. I didn't know people, so I was having a hard time relationships with school. Like, I was always in a new school, always meeting new friends. So I was very good at adapting, but it took me a long time, like, to get to that point. And so around 12 years old, I was going to school. I was always around guys. Like, I realized that I gravitated towards guys more than I did women with friends. So I kind of started to dress like a boy, but it wasn't just because my mom always used to do my hair when I was a little girl. She used to give me acrylics on my nails when I was around 11. I would get really short acrylics because my nails would break off. So I started getting my nails done and stuff. And I hated it because I wanted to go outside and play, but I couldn't because, my nails would be breaking. And my mom would be like, we're going right back to the nail shop, get your nail fixed. So I saw how much maintenance it was to be a woman, and I started to shy away from that because I'm like, I don't want to wear a dress. I want to go outside and play with my brothers. My sisters are very young, so me and my brothers were closer in age. And I was just always outside, with my cousins. We were playing flag football. We were playing basketball. We just were doing all these sports that are considered boy at that time. Because, I was born in 96. And during that time, like the early 2000s, a lot of girls weren't supposed to be. Like, well, they said, you're not supposed to be outside playing with boys and all that. But I just gravitated towards that. That was, what gave me life. So people started telling me when I got to high school, like, well, you wear that. You cannot like boys and wear that. And I started wondering, like, is that true? I was looking around like, I don't even like anyone right now. I don't even know who I am. So how am I supposed to like someone? That was my thoughts. But, when you are unaware of who you are, you allow people to tell you that, and it started to make me feel like, well, maybe I'm not cute or something, like, because I never cared about my hair. Like, I did, but my mom is a hairdresser, so, she used to just do my hair, and how it looked is how it looked, because she did so well. So I started to get into dating girls because that's what I was attracting. Being in sports, I was always, in sports, I guess how you could say I was very muscular. I was always in the gym working out. It's just all I wanted to do because I wanted to perfect my talent, my craft, that the gift that God had gave me. That was what I was good at. And a lot of other girls were good at other things, but I never felt like I fit in. So I just started, it started on a downward spiral. In college is when I really started to dress more so like a boy. Like, I cut my hair off and everything just because people were telling me, like, oh, you should do this, you should do that. And one day I kind of looked myself in the mirror and I'm like, this isn't who I am. Like, it just wasn't what I wanted to do anymore. So, because I was getting hurt by girls, but like, my heart was being broken by people that I shouldn't have even been with. So I started to gravitate more towards guys, and even then I started to realize I can't even do that because I don't know myself. Like, I don't know who I am. I never had the time to sit down and think about that. So when I finally started to think, I'm like, I really want to grow in who Tiara is and make myself, like, presentable to myself. Like, I wanted to be able to accept myself for who I was before I started, going out into the world. And as I did that, and as I grew up, my mom she would always tell me, you're beautiful. My grandma and my auntie, they would be right there telling me you're beautiful regardless of what you dress like and look like. But I started to realize when I was doing that, I didn't want to dress very masculine anymore. It was just because I was in sports. And so after I got out of sports, I started to become more girly, wanted to get into makeup, and now I get my nails done and stuff. And it, because my relationships were such a up and down spiral, when I got, now, you know, like now, I'm really like, I started looking for my husband so quickly, because I'm like, oh, where he at? Where he at? Like, I'm looking around trying to find him all the time. And every guy that came and approached me, I'll be like, you know, I wasn't used to this attraction that people had to me, because it was just from guys, and I wasn't used to that. So I was just going towards whoever would give me attention, and I started putting me in a more depressed situation, because I'm like, okay, he's saying all this, and he's saying this, but he clearly wants something else, but I wasn't aware of that, because I hadn't dealt with that before. And I'm 25 now, so at that, I was at like 23, 22, 21, dealing with all this. So I'm like, man, I really don't understand. So now I'm in a process where God has been telling me, you know, enjoy your single season. Enjoy, because when you have to give yourself away to someone, you don't understand what kind of process that is. You have to be compromising. You have to want to listen to what they're going through. You have to your whole life has to be given now to someone else. And I didn't understand that, so I kept trying to date another person, thinking God was leaving me hanging, because all my friends were finding their husbands, getting married, having kids, and I'm like, you know, I thought by 25 I was going to have at least one kid, you know, something. But it's just a blessing to know now that I don't, because I can grow in who I am. I can travel the world. I can make any decision right now that I want to as a single young woman. And I can, you know, look at these guys that I'm attracted to, and I can go on a date with multiple guys. But right now, because of COVID, I'm not doing that anyway. But, you know, I can do that. That's an option, because I'm in a single season. So when you're single, you're more able to figure out who you are. And the guy that's meant for you, you're going to know. Like, God keeps telling me, you don't have to worry about looking for him, because he's going to find you. Like, he's going to come to you, and it's going to be when you least expect it. Like, I see it in my dreams. I see it when I'm sleeping. I don't know what he looked like, but I just know that I'm going to bump into him one day, and we're going to just click. It's just going to happen like that. And so I'm not in a rush. So my advice to anybody listening right now is just don't rush. Like my cousin was saying, get the chance to know yourself, travel the world, do the things that you want to do first. And then when you get the chance to finally sit down and get to know someone, that's when you do that. But if, you know, pursue yourself first. Like, make yourself the main priority, and it will just come and happen for you. So
Beautiful.
That's beautiful. I enjoyed everything so far. I'm sure you're enjoying it. Tell you a little bit about my relationship. I come from an abusive relationship. My husband, my first husband, he was very abusive, controlling. I mean, the things that he did was unimaginable. But like I always say, God turned my mess into a message. And so I'm just grateful to be here. And a lot of times when we go through different situations, abusive relationships, for some reason it's like we're seeking that same type of person. So it's something in us that we have to realize what's causing me to seek these same type of people, because I was married more than once. I'm on my third marriage, and it's not always good. People say my marriage is perfect. They're lying. I don't care who they are. There is no perfect marriage. Why? Because you're two different people, and you're going to have different opinions. But I thank God that my husband and I, we learned to agree to disagree, and that's how you have to be able to agree to disagree in relationships, or you just always be at one another's throat. A key factor in relationship is communication, and then there's a lot of key factors, and so we're going to talk about communication, and I'm going to pass the mic around, but I just want to talk about communication. Communication is actually listening. You have to be a good listener. A lot of times we say, I communicate, but we talk so fast. We're not listening when the other person is talking, and we're not even listening to what they're saying, because we want to hurry up and say what we want to say, what we have to say, or hurry up. We're thinking within ourselves, would you hurry up so I can say my part? I want to say what I got to say. And we're really not listening to the other person. And that's why communication is being a good listener, and then saying, so you're saying this. That's communication, to be able to talk to your significant other and be able to say, so this is what I'm hearing, because I guarantee you the enemy will have you hearing something totally what's not being said. And that's why you have to make sure you're getting what they're saying. So I hear you're saying this to me. And sometimes they'll say, yeah, that's what I'm saying. And sometimes they'll say, that is not what I just said. And so then you say, well, can you tell me what you said? And then make sure that's communication. Being able to communicate, and listen to what they're saying. And then two people can't talk at the same time. You both trying to talk, going back and forth. Ain't nobody getting. That's not communication, and no one is getting anything across. Communication is you talk, and I'm listening. Then I'm going to respond, and then I talk and you listen, and that's communication. And like I said, be sure to say, is that what you said? So you can get a clear understanding of what that person is saying. Tisha?
Communication.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Yes, communication. It took me a minute to understand what communication was, because I was always trying to get my point across, and I just felt like over the years I've learned to listen and to think before I say something, and understanding that I can't control somebody else's opinion. So, and this is mother-daughter relationship, niece, mom,
That's right.
boyfriend,
Anybody.
husband, wife, whoever. When
Relationship.
communication is so important.
Yes.
And you have to just stop for a minute and listen to
That's
what the
the key.
person is saying. That is the key.
That's the key.
And also, even if you disagree, like it's okay
okay.
to disagree,
That's
but
right.
I can't make you, I can't make you agree with me if you did, if you got a different opinion.
That's
So, that's what we have to understand.
Yes.
So your opinion, you might feel, oh, you made me mad. I can't say I ain't make you mad,
Right,
because
that's how you feel.
you your own person, and so therefore you have the right to feel in your feelings. And as humans, this is what we have to understand. We have a problem with controlling. So therefore we want that person to agree with us. And it's okay. And even if you have to step away and go walk away to, what I'm saying, to get your thoughts together and come back. That's the key. Arguing, you can't hear each other. So communication is when you sit there and you talk about whatever it is. It can be an argument, whatever it is, but we have to respect each other. That's another key, respect, because when we respect each other, our communication will go a very long way.
Yes.
So that's what I have to say.
Beautiful.
Now, this is my daughter, Deanna.
Beautiful name.
Hey y'all, and if anybody just tuning in, this is Walk by Faith, Not by Fear. It's like a podcast, just a group of us as family coming together talking. Today we're talking about relationships.
Welcome. If you're just coming in, welcome.
Yeah, welcome. And right now we just switched to like communication. And when I think about communication, something that I'm like not the best at right now, but trying to improve on is having, or just really being honest in relationships.
Yes.
This is gonna go to communication. Like my best friend, I feel like our relationship, she's taught me a lot about communication. She is like very honest.
Good.
And I learned, like, somebody like me who I'm very, I guess, empathetic. I don't want to hurt somebody's feelings.
Yes.
I don't want to say something that's going to make you feel this way or that way. But in the end, sometimes, like, somebody may make me feel a kind of way, and I'll just hold it in because I don't want to say it because I think they going to think some kind of way. But in the end, it hurts me. And so, or I'll just end up, it'll be like a ticking bomb, like tick, 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 and then it explodes.
Yep.
And so, with her, I've learned that you just have to be honest.
That's right.
Like, even if it hurts that person's feelings, like, I've learned in life, whether intentionally or unintentionally, somebody is gonna get hurt. You gonna hurt somebody gonna hurt you, and that's just life.
Yeah.
And so, being honest, it helps more than you're trying to help them by covering their feelings, but it helps them because it helps them to grow in that area. You gotta be honest and let people know, like, you made me feel this way, because they may be doing something and they don't even know that they're doing it. And it may not only be to you, it may be to a lot of other people. And that's just like a character that they, part of their character that may need to grow. And so, just being open and honest and having hard conversations, that's big in communication, because so many people try to shy away from, like I have, deep conversations are hard conversations, and I'm big on getting to the root of stuff. And so when you're able to, because I'll get to the root of stuff and just keep it to myself, but you have to be able to open up and talk about it with that person too, so that you can grow, so that there's not bitter in your heart. You have to be able to forgive and all that when it comes to communicating. Be willing to allow your pride to go to the side. Be humble, like they're talking about. Listen in a sense of understanding and not trying to respond. Yeah.
That's so important.
Yeah.
That's key. Tiara, beautiful.
Hi, if you're just now joining, I'm Tiara. Welcome. And right now we're talking about relationships and stemming from that, communication in relationships. So for me, communication was one of the hardest things for me to learn. And it was because, like Deanne, I bottled a lot of stuff up. I didn't ever express myself for a long time. And I think having a very honest mother, I saw that she just spoke her mind, and I was so jealous of that because I wanted to be that way. But I was so empathetic of everyone else. Like Deanne, I was just like, it hurt me, but I can handle hurt. I used to think I can handle the hurt. They can't handle this hurt. So let them think that I'm okay. They, walk around. But then I would go home and I would take it out on my siblings and take it out on my mom. And people would hurt me in places that I didn't even understand I was hurt. I would be like, for example, in basketball, I wouldn't play in a game or something. And that hurt my feelings. I would never go to my coach and ask her, well, what is it that I can do to change why I'm not playing? Instead, I would sit there and continue to do what I was doing, and I didn't realize that my coaches were communicating to me what I was doing wrong, but I was so angry about me not playing, I wasn't listening. So they were telling me, you're not playing because in practice you're not doing what I'm telling you to do on defense. And the other people are. So the people who are listening are going to get the playing time. They were saying that to me as clear as day, but I wasn't listening due to me only listening to what I wanted to hear. Like we were just talking about, communication. You have to express how you feel in order to receive anything back. And so because I wasn't ever in a true relationship, I've never had to communicate anything about my feelings with someone else, because I think I was pretty good with that. Like, I show through action. I'm very big on action. I don't listen to words, so I show through my action. I'm a big giver. I have a huge heart, and I would give my last to somebody and be walking around not having it and not want to ask, because I felt like a burden, because I see like now that when you lend a hand these days, a lot of people take advantage of that, and I was taken advantage of so many times that it just kind of locked me up. But because of who God is, like, I really found out through these last couple of years that I have a gift of generosity. I cannot help it. It's something that if I see somebody in need, I'm gonna give, and it's just how I was raised, how I am. So I tried learning how to communicate, but I started realizing I had to communicate with myself to even realize what I felt, because I didn't know. I was so numb, so numb, so broken on the inside that it was causing me to hurt other people unintentionally. And people would be telling me, oh, I would be hearing from other people, oh, Tiara did this to me and blah, blah, but they wouldn't come to me because they knew that they would tell me they knew I was going through a lot. But I don't know how people knew that. But I carried it, and you can carry it. It's like when you put your face in a cake and you get up,
You got that.
then people gonna see that cake all over your face. You can walk around all day and be like, oh, girl, I am okay. Girl, I am fine. And they gonna be looking at ice all on your face like, girl, you was not okay. There's something wrong. It's something. I don't know what you ate for breakfast, but it's something on your face. Like, so that's what, like, I got that analogy from Michael Todd, because he was just saying, like, you can eat, you put all that stuff on you eating this mess, and it's gonna show. It doesn't matter how much you try to hide it. And that's where I became very authentic. I became this real person that I'm in love with myself these days, because I can be honest with myself, and I can come to somebody else and be like, you hurt me. This is where you hurt me. Now I can cut you off. I don't have to worry about it. Or God is telling me you need me in this, so this is where I'm gonna help you. But once you give enough chances, I also learned you have to set boundaries. You don't have to keep giving someone chances. You don't have to keep. Once you give someone a chance and they show you who they are, most times believe them. Yes, believe them. Because if they don't come back to you and apologize, and they don't make you feel better, or like they did something wrong to you, at that point they no longer deserve who you already know you are. Because God tells me who I am. I learned one day that God is going to keep telling me who I am, and I'm going to keep showing people who I am in Christ by going to Him and asking Him, well, what do I do here? And what is it that I can fix in myself here? I'm so self-involved now that if I do hurt someone else's feelings, I make sure, even if I don't think I did anything wrong, most time God convicts me so hard that I go back to these people and be like, look, I know for a fact that we're in a weird position right now in our relationship, because this is what we're talking about, relationships. And I'll have an issue with my best friend, and she would not talk to me. Like, for example, we didn't talk for 6 months, and that really hurt my feelings, because in the situation she was wrong, and now we're no longer friends because of me continuing to go to her and try to talk to her, and she never could come and put her pride aside. Now, when she can do that, that will be a friendship can be built, but a friendship cannot be one-sided. No relationship can be one-sided. One person can't care more than the other or love more than the other. So I started to learn, once you set boundaries, it starts to make people look at themselves or not look at themselves. And that's either going to create for you where you have more people coming, because I realized the growth is a very lonely road. I realized that, because when you're growing and you're moving, you can't be around people that's doing the same things that you were doing. Birds of a feather flock together. I keep telling people that, but a lot of people don't agree with me with that. But I've learned that, because I am starting, even hanging out with my cousin. Me and my cousin can talk for hours on hours and hours, because we agree. And I start to see, like, even if we disagree, we can still have a conversation about it and be like, nah, girl, I don't think that's true. But I see where you're coming from. Because, we're listening and we're able to communicate, and it all comes back to respect. Respecting each other's space, time, what they say. If someone says they can't talk right now, don't keep calling them. Don't keep bothering them. It's just give them space. That's all it starts with, is you loving yourself. And once you love yourself, it's very hard to not be able to love someone else. Because at that point, you're not hurting. And even when you're hurt, you know how to move along in that situation. So that's just learn how to communicate because it is key. Learn how to respect because that is key. That's the beginning, is respecting yourself enough to even want to communicate with someone else on what they're feeling, because you have to respect yourself, respect them, and you will come out on top every time.
Yes, you will.
That's so true.
Hi everyone, I just want to take a little praise break, because to sit here on a panel with my beautiful niece, my mom, my daughter, and myself, we've been through so much. It took us a long time to get to where we at today. Like you were saying about your mom, my sister, about you know how you was jealous because she was always outspoken.
Yeah.
And I remember a time just being in high school or whatever, and I didn't even have to say nothing because people was saying, oh, that's your sister? I ain't even gonna bother you, you know? And so I went through high school with no problem. You know, she's always been outspoken.
Yes.
And no matter how people looked at her, you know, whatever way, she still, you know, was able to speak her mind. And that's something that I had to grow into. You know, we've had, we had a lot of ups and downs from our childhood to now, you know, and being a parent don't have no, manual, like you don't get no manual, you know, and so I just wanted to take that moment. I know we're talking about relationships and talking about, and it was just on my heart just to speak that I'm proud of us on where God is taking us, how we are here to, help somebody else, you know, encourage you. We don't have no type of degree, but our degree is an experience.
That's right.
You know, and it's exactly, because you can have a degree and people don't even study what they went to school for.
That's
so experience is the best life.
Yes.
It's best, you know, it's
That's
the best teacher.
It is.
So again, we on Facebook Live and Instagram. If y'all have any questions, you know, any type of topics, this is just a little snippet of what we're going to bring out.
Yes.
We are walk by faith and not by fear. You know, we cannot have a spirit of fear. God did not give us that.
That's right.
I was never a talker, you know, and so now, look at God. Look at God.
Trying to read the comments.
You know, so I just wanted to share
That's
that.
beautiful, yes.
And even their older brother, he used to say, I'm going to get my sister on you, Tiara's mother, her sister, my oldest daughter, Dakima. He would go through high school and say, you better leave me alone, I'm going to get my sister on you, because they knew who Dakima was. Dakima did not play. I mean, they would call me on my job, and I'd be like, Kima, please. But Kima was looking for some attention, that's all. Her mom was working hard, and she just wanted some love and some attention. And that's how we do. When you want some attention, you're going to do anything and everything you can, and that was Dakima. But my baby girl, my oldest daughter, Dakima, is not like that no more. I'm so proud of her. She has shops. I mean, we can go on, and we'll get there. I'm just saying, we've all written books, my daughter, myself. It's just the blessing of God that we're here to be able to talk to you and to encourage you. If you just tuned in, we're here walking by faith, not by fear. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. And we want to encourage you today and let you know that you can make it. Whatever you've been through, all you got to do is trust in God and know that God got you. So right now we're talking about relationships, and you feel free to key in, type in any question that you have for any one of us. But we were talking about relationships and communication. And in my relationship with my first husband, I mean, I got hit in the head with bats, with hammers. Yes, this head with bats and hammers. But it's nothing but the grace of God that has allowed me to be in my right mind, allowed me to be here. And so I'm just thanking God that I'm here and in my right mind, and that just not me, but me and my children, we made it through that abusive relationship by the grace of God. I mean, rifle pulled in my mouth, a 22, saying I'm going to blow your brains out. And so it's nothing but the grace of God, hallelujah, who causes us to be able to go on. And so we're talking about communication. And now I want to talk about forgiveness, because that's another key. And they also talked about respect. We're going to go back to respect and honesty. But right now I want to talk about forgiveness, because forgiveness is a big part. And when you've been hurt, when your heart has been broken, when you've been through so much, a lot of times you don't feel like you want to forgive, feel like you can't forgive, and you won't forgive. But I want to let you know that if we don't forgive, that God will not forgive us. It doesn't matter what we've been through, what happened to us. We can't say, oh, but I don't have to forgive you because you did this. The devil is a lie. It doesn't matter what happened to us. It doesn't matter what we've been through, because we've been through some stuff, y'all. And you will hear it as we talk. Maybe not today, but you will hear it as we have our podcast. But forgiveness. And a lot of times when you go through things, it seems like it's a heavy burden and you can't forgive. And I want you to know you can on your own. But if you go to God, if you trust God, God will help you to forgive any situation. With the abusive husbands that I had, God allowed me to be able to forgive them. It wasn't anything that I've done. I couldn't have did it on my own, because the things that they had done to me. But it's by the grace of God that I was able to forgive them, because I asked God to help me. And so a lot of times when our heart is broken, when we've been abused and misused, belittled and put down, when we have no self-esteem, and then God allows us, because it's nothing but the grace of God that allows us to get up out of those situations, we have to forgive. We have to allow God's grace to allow us to forgive. Let me tell you about forgiving. When you are unforgiving, you're holding a weight. It's like a weight that you're holding on yourself because you're not forgiving. But as soon as you forgive them, I'm not saying being fake, being phony, oh, I forgive you, and you really haven't forgiven them. You'll know if you've forgiven them, because you'll be able to move on. You'll be able to look at them in their face and talk to them. And you'll be able to do these things. With the ex that I had, after all that I've been through, I was able to hug him, because I forgave him from my heart, because God gave that to me to be able to forgive, because God said if we don't forgive, He's not going to forgive us. And so we don't want to walk around with weights. We don't want to walk around unforgiving. We have to forgive every situation, any situation, forgive. And like I said, if it's too hard, give it to God. Say, Lord, this is hard. That person raped me. I've been raped, y'all. And I had to forgive that person. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. We have to be able to say, I forgive you, and move on if you want to be blessed. If you want God to forgive you, and God will give you the grace to be able to forgive. And in relationships, we have to be able to forgive. We can't just be saying all the time, oh, well, I forgave last time, I'm not forgiving. They gonna come to me this time, because I done forgave them two last time. The two times before, I forgave them, and it wasn't even my, I didn't even, that's the kind of stuff we be saying. But somebody have to be the bigger person. If you come 3 times, we have to forgive. And we might disagree with 50-50. I don't agree with 50-50, and I'm going to tell you why, but not right now. I don't believe our relationships have to be a 50-50, and I'm going to tell you why I don't believe that. But right now we're talking about forgiveness.
I had a question too.
Oh, good answer.
It's a question in our question box.
Good. Got questions? Come on, y'all, send them in.
Someone asked, how to be more patient.
I can help. Any one of us can
I
say
can
it.
help with that one.
We all can help. Let's go ahead. Okay, you want to start?
Yeah, I can start.
I think we all got some. Maybe we don't. 'Cause
How
we
to
gonna
be
fake.
more patient. Ooh,
Mhm.
that is a good one. And I've learned through sports, I've learned the most about patience, just through having to be patient because I started it. I'm going to use the example of from me moving out here and not having a car. That was one of my biggest tests of patience. Because I haven't told this testimony online, but we were driving from Las Vegas back here to Michigan, and God tested the mess out of our patience. And it was because we were thinking, oh, God is going to get us here in one ride. And we got stopped twice. And the second time was in the middle of nowhere. We lost our tires, so the car cannot move without 4 tires. So we were sitting here without a tire. And God was showing us, like, patience really comes from God because our human nature isn't patient. We sitting here on road. I see people with road rage. They, oh girl, move out the way, get out my way, like beating that horn. And I don't drive like that. So when I'm in the car with somebody that's like that, I'll just be like, girl, whoever I'm in the car with, calm down, just breathe. But really, what it comes down to, patience, is really being able to have an anchor. When you have someone that you can go to in your time that takes your mind off of something, patience is really just knowing that you're going to get there, but in God's timing. When you give everything you have to God and you stop worrying about, it's worry that causes impatience. So when you're stopping to look at the situation, like maybe there's a reason why I didn't get there on time, or why it didn't go the way that it should have in my head, because God says that He knows the plans that He has for you, and He's going to make sure that it goes out in His plan and His timing. And we have no control over time. So once you realize, oh, I have no control over this situation, and you release control of situations, patience just naturally comes because you're chilling out. You're like, oh well, we're going to get there. We didn't realize that we were tired on that road trip. And we needed a nap, but we were trying to rush to get back, thinking I was going to work, and rushing and rushing. When you rush, that's when you get in car accidents, and that's when you fall asleep behind the wheel and almost hurt yourself and stuff like that. And so patience is really just putting your time in the right areas and using your time wisely. Just knowing that, okay, if I have this to do today, I'm not gonna go get me some food at a restaurant that's gonna be a 30-minute wait. Go somewhere quick so you can get there on time. It's just timing and making sure that when you are ready to take a step out, or if you have to wait on someone else, that you're waiting with, I can't think of the word, but you're waiting with virtue. Like you're waiting knowing that it's going to come, but you having faith and expectation. Like I just expected that I was going to have a car. I had faith that I was going to get a car. I told my grandma, I told my mom, I'm believing in God. And when He knew that I needed it, He gave it to me. But I had to do my part first. So patience is just knowing that it's all in God's hands. And when it's time for it to happen, it will. And that's all. For me, that's all that patience is for me. I just had to realize God is going to give me what I need, and He's going to take away what I don't. And when I get it, I'll steward over it, but I may not be ready for that right now. So, in relationships, sometimes we're not ready for a relationship. So you have to be patient in your single season.
That's right.
And that's
enjoy
just,
it
enjoy it, because
That's
once
right.
it's gone, you don't get it back.
Yes.
And that's just my biggest thing, is enjoying the moment. I'm a big enjoy the moment.
That's what
So
you have to.
that's just my biggest
Enjoy.
thing is about patience. So
That's
I don't know
beautiful.
who wants to go next.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Patience, that was really good. And that's what it's about. Patience is one of the fruit of the Spirit. And we can only have it through the grace of God and trusting God. You'll be able to have patience. It's not being anxious, because the Word of God says, be anxious for nothing. And so when we give it to God, and when we truly give it to God and put it in God's hands, you will be able to be patient when whatever it is you're going through. If you're looking for a soulmate, don't be in a hurry. Enjoy your single life. because you just don't know. Getting connected with somebody else, now you got somebody you got to answer to, somebody you got to get approval from. It's not one. The two of you become one, but it's not just you like if you were single. And so enjoy your single life and enjoy it while you're single, and allow God to just deal with it and send you your mate. But patience is just simply trusting God, simply giving it to God and not worrying about it. And I think we're about running out of time. We're going to have them each talk about forgiveness, but hopefully that helped you about giving it to God with patience. When you give it to God and not anxious about it, and just say, Lord, I'm giving it to you, you'll realize when you truly give it to God that you won't be impatient. You will be ready to do whatever God called you to. That's why he says, cast all your cares on me because I care for you. And so give it to God. And truly give it to God. And we say we give it to God, but we're still holding on to it. But when you really give it to God, you will have patience. And you will be able to sit back and just watch God move. Because it's going to happen in his timing. Our timing is not God's timing. His ways are not our ways. And so that's something you can pray about. If you don't feel you have patience, just ask God, Lord, I want to be more patient. Help me to be patient. And then God will start taking you through different things so that you can be patient. And then you say, oh, God helped me with that, with my patience. I was able to be patient in that. But it's a lot of times it has to do with being anxious and want to hurry up and do it. And we just got to lay back and let God do what he do.
So we're talking about
Forgiveness.
forgiveness.
And then we're going to stop after that.
Okay, yeah, because forgiveness, ooh-wee,
Yes.
it's a long,
Forgiveness is a long
journey. When you forgive. So I'm just give a little bit, because like I said, we're running out of time. But I had to forgive. When you don't forgive, it makes you sick.
Yes.
And from a child to being grown, I'm in my 40s, so just all that unforgiveness
Yes.
will make you sick.
Come on.
And when they say stress kills,
Yes.
stress kills.
Yes, it will.
So you have to forgive.
Yes. Have to.
No matter what the situation is,
Yes.
what the problem is, we must forgive.
Yes.
You know, and I've also been raped and molested and just had a horrible childhood. I had to forgive my mom.
Yes.
Because I didn't understand as a child, why did I go through so much?
Right.
But when you get to that place and you truly know who God is,
Yes.
and give everything that you're dealing with to God,
Give it to God.
you become set free.
That's right.
So I had to write a book
Yes.
about my childhood
Beautiful.
so I can get set free
What's the name
and
of the book?
forgive.
Where can they find it?
It's The Girl Behind the Scenes, and I type it in the comments.
Okay.
So no matter if you got to write it out, whatever it is,
However you can deal with
you
it.
have to forgive.
Yes.
We have to forgive. You
have
have
to.
to look at how God forgives us
That's
daily.
right. Yes.
You know, no one is perfect.
That's right.
So when you can forgive someone, you're doing a big part. Even if you didn't do it wrong, even if it wasn't you who did
That's
something
right.
wrong,
Come on.
you healing your own self by
Yes.
being forgiven. Like,
Mhm.
oh, I forgive you.
Right.
You know, and once you take that stand and you give it to God, and that's why I keep giving God the glory,
Yes.
because I wouldn't be here today.
Yes. None of us. Thank you, Lord.
I mean, just
Mm.
having forgiveness is so important. I
Yes,
can't
it is.
say it no,
Yes.
right enough. You have to forgive,
You have
no
to.
matter what it is. A
That's
bad
right.
relationship, a bad marriage, whatever it may be.
That's
you know, hurt by your parents. You know, you and your siblings,
Your boo.
your whatever, right? Your boo, whoever, whatever it is.
That's
we
right.
have to forgive.
We have to.
No one perfect.
That's
you know, and we can be hurt and crying and doing all of that. But when it comes down to it, forgiveness is the key.
That's right. That's so true.
When I think about forgiveness, it made me think that this happened to me at times, and I know that it probably happens with other people as well. Sometimes you don't realize that you have to forgive, but it shows up in how you treat somebody, and
Yes.
you don't know why you just get feelings when they walk in the room. Like
Right, exactly.
you really bitter,
Yeah,
or
that's true.
you never thought about, you're like, this person is cool, they didn't do nothing to me, but it kind of goes back to earlier when we talked about you don't even know your own emotions sometimes. But I realized there are moments where certain people, like, they could walk into the room and my whole energy changed. And I had to realize, well, God really had to point out to me, like, you need to forgive them for this specific thing. Because with me, things would replay in my mind sometimes. Like, I'll have flashbacks,
Yes.
anything. And I'm just thinking, this is just, okay, this because it happened, it's going to flash back in my mind. No, God is trying to show you something.
That's right.
You have an emotion attached to that memory that needs healing.
Yes.
And so, so sometimes you spot it in those ways.
Yes.
Because, somebody first of all, shouldn't change your mood,
That's right.
But
Something's
anyway,
wrong.
yeah, something's wrong. So when that
That's a
happens,
flag.
something that happens, like something that you can do practically that helped me is to really sit in that emotion. Like, kind of just go somewhere. I'm a journaler. I journal a lot. That helps me to get my emotions out. And so I just sit and I really just talk to God. And every emotion that I have attached to that flashback of what happened or anything, I just begin to write, and things just begin to flow. Like, oh dang, I really am bitter. I really have not forgiven that person. Like, I'm really still hurt, and it shows in how I treat them. And so, I was able to just write things out and really pray. And I remember God telling me at one point, he was like, write specific things out and ask for forgiveness for those specific things. Because sometimes we're just broad with it. Okay, God, help me to forgive them. Or you'll go to somebody and say, I'll forgive you. And some people will be like, forgive me for what? Because you got to be specific,
That's
feel that those very things that has hurt you or anything like that. Yeah, so just go to the root of the situation, really figure out what emotions are involved and ask for forgiveness. Even God may tell you to go to that person, because sometimes we just forgive and you just, okay, in your own time, you just like, okay, God forgive them. But God may be pressing you to say, okay, now you need to go and tell that person to their face or over the phone.
That's right.
You need to let them know that you've forgiven them. Because some people hold that, they hold it, and they feel guilty and all that, and that's another subject, because you got to be able to forgive. That's another thing. But you don't know the power that's in that, and you don't even realize, like, God uses us in so many ways. And so you can be having to forgive somebody who may not even know God or anything like that, but the moment you say these words to them, they may be like, whoa, like, where did that come from? Wow. And they didn't even realize that they were holding something. And they was like, wow, I just feel lighter. Where'd that come from? And here goes a spiritual conversation now that can happen. You can just be like, God really put it on my heart. God. Yes, God really put it on my heart. And you never know how God may use you as a light, as a vessel to reach his people.
That is so good. Yes.
Since everyone else kind of talked about forgiving others, I want to talk about the one I had the biggest issue with is forgiving myself.
That's a good one.
I had the biggest problem with forgiving myself because, like I said, I was so empathetic that I would feel so bad for stuff I didn't even know. I just felt bad. I would always walk around feeling like bad, like, oh, I can't say this or I can't say this. But it was because I didn't forgive myself for things that I allowed and things that I felt I should have cut off, and I continue to forgive that person. But God was showing me, that's your big heart. That's your heart that you have, which is a blessing, but that also can be a curse to you if you don't use it properly. So it was like I was giving forgiveness to people I was giving forgiveness to everyone, but I wasn't forgiving myself. And so I would be in a situation where I'm like, and Michael Todd showed me that. I don't know if you guys have listened, but he has a sermon series called Forgiveness University. And I watched through that, and I was just like, oh my gosh, when he was saying, forgive you. Like, put yourself in a position to be able to forgive somebody else, because you will not forgive anyone else when you are you're holding stuff inside. And that's most times, for me, I don't know about anyone else, but for me it was, I allowed this person to get over on me. I allowed this person to take this money. So it starts to make me bitter and start making me stop giving, which is my gift. I have a gift of giving. So it started making me, I'm not ever giving again. I'm not ever helping nobody else. And it started making me bitter towards people that really needed, God needed me to reach people that I couldn't reach because I was bitter. And he was showing me that once you forgive yourself for allowing things to happen to you that it's not meant to happen, but when they happen, it's meant to teach me something. Once I forgave myself for allowing those things, I became more able to forgive. And recently, God's been revealing to me stuff I didn't even know I was upset about, because I've been able to forgive myself. Like, I'm not going to go much into it, but I was dealing with sexual impurity and having sex with guys that I didn't know, and stuff like that. And that was embarrassing for me. So I had to forgive myself for allowing people in through words, when I told myself, I wasn't going to have sex to marriage, but I did. And I didn't do that. So, that I had to forgive myself for that, because I opened up my body to people that I knew I shouldn't have, but it was because at a young age I was molested. And God is showing me that now you were hurt, so that comes from pain. You got to forgive the person that hurt you, but you also got to forgive yourself, and you got to forgive, your siblings for stuff that you didn't even know, and family members that you didn't even know. Like, so the more older I get, the more I realize that forgiving myself is allowing me to even realize that I have and holding unforgiveness against other people, and I didn't know. So that's the key to me, is forgiving yourself first. And once you do that, everything else is like giving your heart to God. He will change your habits. Yes. That's what happened with me. I had to forgive myself. I gave God the things that I thought that I wasn't forgiving myself for, and he started revealing me more things, like, this too, don't forget this, write that down, make sure you don't forget that. So it's like a cycle. Once you start to do something, it starts to become a habit. And you create a habit after a week, and after a month it becomes a cycle. And once you go back into cycles of doing things, it's like, I can forgive this person now, where I was stuck for 3 months. Now I'm only stuck for 3 minutes, because God is showing me, forgive them right now. Let it go. Just forget it. And you can't just forget it. You have to give it to God. And that's where the forgiveness comes in. So I say forgiving yourself first. And once you forgive yourself, everything else will fall into place.
You have to forgive yourself first. You can't even forgive until you forgive yourself.
I just wanted to say this real quick. It just came to me. So when you know you done something wrong, you will hear the Holy Spirit to say, go apologize.
Yes.
Go apologize. Like, no, you can be like, no, I ain't about to, that ain't, right. You can think it's the enemy. No, right. No, it's God. And even if you got into it with your whoever you come in to contact with, and y'all got it in, and it was a disagreement, even if you feel you was right, no matter what, you would hear that small voice say, just say you apologize.
That's right.
And you don't know how that'll make somebody feel.
You don't know.
Like, you don't know how that'll, right. You being the first one to say, I apologize. They might be like, what? Oh my, thank you, whatever. But it ain't even about satisfying a human or a person. It's about pleasing God and obeying. Right. Yeah. And we miss out on our blessings by not following that voice. That's right. The Holy Spirit will let you know immediately. if you ain't supposed, just apologize. Just apologize.
And
So I
obey.
Yep, apologize and obey. I just
That's
wanted to say
right,
that.
that is so good.
Right.
You say.
That's how he be with me, and give them a hug
See?
too.
Right, and see, and that's because that's sincerity, and that's what we have to do when we obey God. God is not going to lead you the wrong way. The devil ain't going to go tell you to apologize, give him a hug, say you sorry. He's not going to do that. But God will, because God is love, and he wants us to love everyone. Look, we're running out of time, and we had a great time, didn't we, y'all? It was so good. And so we want you to tell somebody, tune in next Saturday. Just look for Tierra, Letitia, or Ruth, or Nays live about 2:30, about that time. We're going to be tuning in every Saturday, and our scenery might be a little different. We're going to try to be right here in this same scenery, but we're going to be led by God, and we want to meet you here. And if you have any questions, we want you to type them in, ask questions. Send messages to us, and whatever, if you have topics that you want us to talk about, just say, can y'all talk about this, or whatever it might be. You got all of our live, our messages, emails or texts or phone numbers. Get in touch with someone else, and let someone know that we're on walking by faith and not by fear. Look, it's God that allowed us to go through what we did and to be here and to be able to talk about it. We could talk and talk and talk, but we know you got a life and you got things you need to do, and so do we. And so we're going to let you go. If you want to tune in to get our books, you can go to exebrius.com, or you can go to amazon.com, barnesandnoble.com, and put in Ruth Webb, Letitia Montgomery, or Dakima Marie Hicks, and you will see the books that God has allowed us to write. Both my daughters wrote one book each, and they got more books coming. I'm on my 11th book, and it's only the grace of God. I'm boasting in my God. And so all these books will help you, because we have something to talk about, because we have been delivered and we have been set free. I'm going to let everyone say goodbye to you. We love you, and they're going to say goodbye.
Thanks for joining.
Yes.
We'll be back
Next
next
Saturday.
Saturday. And
About 2:30.
about 2:30.
Yes.
Okay. And just share with your friends and
Yes.
family.
If you Eastern
Yeah,
time,
Eastern time.
2:30 Eastern time.
That's good, yeah.
So just share with your friends. I'm gonna be sending a flyer or something to announce it. This was a spirit of moment where we didn't get nothing out. So we will be joining y'all. Thanks.
Every
Facebook,
Saturday. Thank you.
my niece live and my live. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate everything. Everybody's been joining.
Yes. Let everybody say bye.
Thank y'all for tapping in with us
Yes.
today. We had fun doing this.
Yes.
This is like no rehearsal. This was
Yes.
just sit down and get to talking.
That's
So-
right.
So sorry.
That's what we gonna be doing.
Yeah,
It's just real.
We just gonna do that
Yes.
every week. We just gonna come together and talk. Like we already be having discussions, about life.
Exactly, yes.
So why not come together and share it with y'all? Share the lessons that we get. It's a privilege and an
Yes.
honor to be here with my
Yes.
mother and my grandma.
Yes.
People that are older than us, and we get so much wisdom from them. And my auntie too, who's gonna
Yes.
be on.
Yes.
And just different perspectives
Yes.
from just different generations, different ages,
Yes.
different. We've gone through different things, but we've had similar lessons, different lessons, and so it's just good to be here with y'all. Thank y'all again for
Yes.
tuning in with us.
Thank you.
That's what I was gonna say real quick. I see my sister, she jumped back on. She have a busy schedule, so
Yes.
hopefully that
be
she'll be able to either join our live with us next week. I'm hoping, if she can. But in March we will all be together, and you will just be excited.
Vegas.
It's gonna be a family affair.
Yes. Yes.
Thank
Family
you,
affair.
all you guys who joined online. There's no one on right now, but y'all, I'm gonna post this on my page. So thank you guys all for joining. And yes, anything you guys want to talk about, if you have any questions or anything that you are specifically wanting to speak about, you can send that to my DM. My Instagram is Tierra Danielle, and if you got my number, you know me, you can text me and all that. But thank you guys so much, and I'm so thankful to be here. Moving back to Michigan has been one of the best things I've done, and it's been going uphill since I've done that. So I thank you guys all for joining and allowing us to share our story with you.
Let's say it all. What is the name of it? Walking by faith and not by fear. Bless you.
Bless you guys. Have a good one.
How do you DJ? I mean.